Okay, this is a local TV program, or actually the national TV. This is saying that the water is rationed in the fourth region, which is a region is the equivalent of a state. This is footage taken last July when we first arrived. They had quite extensive flooding. There were the worst storms that they've had in 25 or 30 years. And so this shows there where the road has been cut. There was so much damage done to the roads throughout the country. The roads are bad enough to begin with, and this flooding was quite bad. This is showing how a lot of the local orchards were damaged as well by the flooding. Some of them were just wiped out.
Cálculo estimativo una vez que nos lleguen el puente entre 48 y 72 horas
the bridge
después.
is washed out.
Ayer cuadrillas de vialidad trabajaron durante
Here's
todo el
another
día en la
bridge
instalación
on
de
the
dos puentes
Panamericana.
mecanos llevados desde Santiago.
This is
En el kilómetro
located over the
335,
Rio
sur del Paso
Limarí,
Corrientes,
which is
fue habilitada
the
una
river
estructura
that we
metálica de 40 toneladas de
canoed.
soporte,
We put in
ya que
here at this
16
bridge
metros
and
de vías
canoed
fueron
to
totalmente destruidos
the
por el
Pacific
temporal.
Ocean.
Una situación similar se
was
registró
about
en la
10 or
localidad de
15
Marcos
miles.
Hornito, donde la
Here
lluvia
they're
causó la
repairing the
destrucción total
bridge
de
from
la
the
ruta.
damage that was done
En
by the
tanto, en el
storms.
viaducto La Cebada, kilómetro 337 de la Panamericana Norte, la crecida del
Here again
caudal
is where the
provocó su
road has been
destrucción.
cut away
También
by the
Vialidad
Russian
colocó un
water.
puente mecano en este lugar para facilitar el paso de los cientos de camiones atrapados en este sector. Ayer, personal de la Fuerza Aérea llevó alimentos a quienes se encuentran en esta zona. Por otra parte, se ha desarrollado una ardua labor de despeje de todo el camino hacia La Serena, ya que el temporal ocasionó derrumbes en la vía, la caída de numerosos árboles y postes. La Panamericana Norte sufrió a raíz del frente de mal tiempo socavaciones e inundaciones
There's
de agua y
another bridge
barro
that's been
en numerosos puntos,
damaged.
causando el aislamiento de decenas de localidades.
Now this is footage that Tom, our neighbor and Dan's boss, got with his camera. This is showing some of the damage done on the road from La Serena inland toward the observatory. This road had several bad cuts in it, and it was months until the road was finally repaired. There were a lot of bridges washed out and places where the water simply came up and dissolved the ground away from under the asphalt, and it washed away. You can see a lot of debris, rubble. Now this is the area where we turn off the main road onto the private road belonging to the observatory. It's about 32 kilometers from the base up to the summit of Tololo. Tololo is 7,000 feet high, and our road, again 32 kilometers long, was cut in 16 places, completely cut and washed out.
Oh, that's
so
right.
They really had their hands full repairing it. At the time he took these pictures, the crews had already been at work on repairing our road for 2 weeks. And so it's kind of amazing that even after 2 weeks of non-stop repair work, the road is still in pretty terrible damage. Again, you can see where it's been cut away, with the horses in the background. And this is another view of the same cut. In just a moment,
Yes.
he'll drive his Jeep along the side there so you can get a bit of perspective as to how extensive the damage is. The driver of the Jeep, by the way, is Tom's foster son, Tommy.
What?
Tololo maintains its own rather large fleet of vehicles and heavy equipment for maintaining this road. Again, even in good weather, it's a constant battle trying to keep the road in good condition, constant grading. And here you can see where it's simply washed one of these heavy vehicles away, and it's mired in the mud. And there again is Tommy trying to show how deep the water is in front of the vehicle. Now here is a place where the road had been completely washed through. They've had time to put some beams in there in order to provide some kind of support for the vehicles to drive across. Now you can tell that they're made for big equipment, and the wheelbase on this Jeep was just barely enough to let him cross, much narrower, and he couldn't have driven across. And the ironic thing about all of this flooding is that ordinarily, again, we live on the edge of the desert, and most of these places where you see rushing water, it's completely dry during the rest of the year. Or if anything, maybe it will have a small trickle, but generally most of these places are completely dry during the rest of the year. It's just the sudden storms.
Dude.
Here's a little bit farther up the road on the way to Tololo. Now here straight ahead is where the road used to go, but you can see the Jeep driving down to the left because the road has been cut and they actually have to drive through this stream bed in order to get across. It was one of the worst cuts, and it was the last one to really be fully repaired. They had culverts in there to carry water when the stream was running, but this was just such a raging torrent that it actually washed the culverts out, the aluminum culverts, and you'll be able to see them in the pictures in a moment. Completely bent and
I think so.
crippled, absolutely no good whatsoever. Here are the culverts lying among the rocks. Now Tommy will drive the Jeep through. Now here you see where the road used to be. There's one end, and then the stream. And here's the other end of the road where it should have connected about 10 feet higher than we're standing. Now this is standing up on the edge of the road. And we see Tommy playing on the culverts, a real safe thing to do in the midst of rushing water, but Tommy isn't known for his good judgment. And there's one of the vehicles working to try to regrade the road. You'll be able to see in these pictures now we're getting high enough that we're coming up to the snow line. Of course, with all the rain that this storm brought to the lower lying land, of course it brought snow then to the mountains. Now here is our first view of Tololo. Tololo is the name of the mountain. Cerro Tololo means Mount Tololo, whatever Tololo happens to mean. And this is a view of the 4-meter dome. That's the building that houses the 4-meter telescope, which is the largest telescope in the southern hemisphere. The 4-meter refers to the diameter of the mirror in the telescope, which translates to about a mirror that's about 13 feet in diameter. So it's quite a large instrument. Fortunately, even though the Andes, most of the higher mountains do have snow year-round, Tololo is not high enough that it has snow year-round. Apparently this kind of snow is a relatively rare occurrence. During most of the year, they don't have to contend with this kind of weather.